Being a sensitive person is, above all, a form of sophisticated emotional intelligence. It is to see the invisible, to notice what is not said, to pick up subtle vibrations in a gaze, in a voice, in the environment. Sensitivity, when well understood, is a rare gift. It allows you to connect with others in a deep, compassionate, and true way. However, that same sensitivity can become a burden when it is not managed with awareness. Sensitive people feel everything intensely. A criticism, a silence, a crossed word. Small interactions can feel like storms, but it is possible to cultivate a stable state of serenity, even in emotionally turbulent situations. Sensitivity is not weakness. It is the raw material for resilient inner strength, provided it comes with emotional self-regulation. Emotion is not a command. Choose the response, not the reaction. Feeling is not acting. Emotions are like waves. They come, grow, and pass. They are information, not instructions. When you feel anger or frustration, you do not have to obey that impulse. There is a space between the stimulus and the response, and it is in that space that your freedom and personal power reside. In practice, this means pausing, breathe, observe. Instead of reacting automatically, be curious about yourself. What exactly am I feeling? Where is this coming from? Is it really about the present moment? Mentally saying, this emotion is temporary, I am not, it helps disidentify from the impulse. With practice, this simple attitude transforms you from a victim of emotion into a conscious observer. And the more you practice, the more you realize it is possible to be profoundly sensitive and still unshakable. Change the focus. What does this emotion want to teach me? Negative emotions, no matter how uncomfortable, do not arise to punish us. They appear to teach us. They are like emotional compasses pointing to parts of us that need attention, listening, and healing. Instead of falling into the mental trap of, why is this happening to me? Try reframing the question, what is this emotion trying to show me about myself? This simple change of focus shifts you from the role of the victim to the protagonist of your inner growth. Perhaps anger reveals a boundary that you failed to enforce. Maybe sadness points to a need for warmth. Irritation with others is often the echo of something unresolved within us, a wound, an insecurity, a limiting belief. Sensitivity does not have to be synonymous with suffering. When you start seeing emotions as allies, everything changes. Maintaining calm is, therefore, not about suppressing or ignoring what you feel, but about integrating these emotions with awareness, naming them, welcoming them, and learning from each one. Over time, pain ceases to be a threat and becomes a messenger. Each emotion, even the difficult ones, becomes an opportunity for self-knowledge. True emotional peace is born from this maturity, looking within with honesty and allowing yourself to transform. Sensitivity, in this context, becomes an internal compass that points not to chaos, but to the freedom of being whole and true. The key to lightness: stop taking everything personally. One of the most liberating attitudes you can cultivate is to understand with an open heart that not everything is about you. This simple truth can profoundly change the way you live. When someone is rude, critical, or indifferent, they are often just expressing the pain, fatigue, or frustration they carry inside, not something directed at you. Sensitive people tend to absorb their surroundings like emotional sponges. But that same sensitivity needs to be protected with discernment. Start to observe, was what affected me so much really personal? Or was I just a stage where the other projected their own inner mess? By stopping to interpret everything as a direct attack, you stop wearing yourself out unnecessarily and begin to preserve yourself with emotional intelligence. This does not mean ignoring abuse or injustice. It merely means choosing the right battles and keeping your energy centered. Compassion does not weaken you. It is a lens that enhances your clarity. It allows you to understand without carrying, to listen without absorbing, to embrace without nullifying yourself. And above all, it gives you the right to say, I can see the pain of others, but I don't need to carry it as if it were mine. This is maturity. This is lightness. This is freedom. Take care of your inner temple, body, mind, and spirit. Staying calm amidst chaos isn't just a matter of willpower, it results from daily, conscious self-care. Your emotional well-being is directly linked to the state of your body, mind, and spirit. Neglecting any of these areas is like trying to balance a table with a broken leg. Sleep well. Sleep is restorative, regulates mood, and renews your energy. Eat wisely. Avoid extremes. Both excess and deficiency rob your stability. Move. Physical exercise is one of the most effective ways to release accumulated tension and stimulate the production of well-being hormones. Silence. Meditate, pray, take deep breaths. Moments of introspection restore mental clarity and strengthen your spiritual connection. Avoid toxic environments and draining relationships. Learn to recognize what saps your energy and distance yourself from it lovingly and firmly. Taking care of yourself is not selfish, it is responsibility. A well-cared-for temple is home to peace, resilience, and conscious presence. Create a ritual for emotional decompression. Do not allow emotions to accumulate like dust, hidden under the rug, invisible to the eyes, but heavy in the heart. Each day carries an emotional load. Tensions at work, misunderstandings, small frustrations, pleasant surprises, moments of joy or disappointment. If these emotions are not recognized and processed, they become a silent weight that settles in the body and mind like an invisible burden. Creating a daily ritual for emotional decompression is an act of self-care. It can be something simple, yet constant. Writing in a journal, walking in silence while paying attention to your breath, listening to calming music, meditating, praying before sleep, or talking to someone who welcomes you without judgment. The essential thing is not to ignore what you feel. Repressed emotions do not disappear. They accumulate and often return, disguised as constant irritation, anxiety, exhaustion, or unexplained sadness. Having a routine of emotional cleansing is as important as brushing your teeth or taking a shower. You need healthy release valves. And more than that, you deserve lightness. Feeling is not weakness, it is humanity. Processing what you feel is an act of self-love, maturity, and emotional responsibility. In the end, it is not about avoiding feelings, but about feeling with awareness, without drowning in the inner current. Balance begins exactly there, in the courage to look within and listen to yourself with truth. Choose to be peace, not just have peace. True peace is not an external refuge, but an internal decision. It does not arise from the absence of conflict, but from the presence of awareness. You do not need to wait for the world to be in order to feel good. When you choose daily that your peace is a priority, you begin to live with an active calm, one that does not depend on the silence around you, but on the serenity cultivated within. Being peace is deeper than merely seeking tranquil moments. It is taking responsibility for your internal state. It is learning to react with presence, to breathe before responding, to step back before exploding. You can be firm without being aggressive, clear without being harsh, sensitive without being fragile. Anger may knock on your door, but you do not have to let it in. Irritation may whisper, but you can choose not to listen. Being peace is a posture, a conscious and repeated choice, not a gift reserved for a few. With sensitivity, intention, and practice, peace ceases to be a temporary state. It becomes your natural way of existing, not as a denial of chaos, but as a courageous way to be in the world without losing yourself in it.